Hey folks, Barry Blasters in the Desert here. Back here today to talk about something that's just hitting the market. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to get one ahead of time so that I can kind of play around with it, put it through its paces a little bit, see what I think about it, so I can tell you if you're bothering to watch this. And it's something that I've discussed in the past, actually, and this is just sort of an upgraded version of it. So this will be a shorter video. It's not going to go into all of the details of what this thing is, how it works, etc. So just getting straight into it. Today I'm talking about the Mantis Blackbeard X. As I said, I've done a video in the past talking about the Mantis Blackbeard and what it does, how it works, everything, what I've been using it for as far as being a training aid, a dry fire training aid, to help me out. Just do some dry fire practice when I'm at home and can't get out to the range, whatever. I'll leave a link to that previous video in the description here so you can go and check that out if you want to. It's got a little bit more detail, stuff that I'm not going to go into. I'm going to cover the basics, of course, what the Mantis Blackbeard is, what the Mantis Blackbeard X is, the differences between the two, some of the stuff that you get, the new features with the new version of it. So, of course, the Blackbeard, which you can see, I've actually got it installed in that gun right up there on the top. It is a trigger resetting device. It's electronic, just uses battery, plug it in. So when you squeeze the trigger on that rifle or pistol, whatever you happen to be using it on, AR platform gun, the hammer falls, of course, and this just resets it. So you don't have to, squeeze the trigger, rack the charging handle to charge the trigger and get it ready to shoot again. This is bothering me. Sorry. And so it's been great for things like dry fire, where you want to actually get that trigger press. You want to actually go through that manipulation without having to stop and reset it manually every single time. Great for things like transition drills, where you're going to be shooting, shooting a whole bunch all at once. I love it. It's been fantastic. In the past, what I had done was actually just use my old Mantis X unit, which was actually the original version, just mounted on the gun on Picatinny there, and then use the Blackbeard just for the reset. So doing some of those older drills, using the Mantis for things like, how much you're moving and things like that, and then the Blackbeard just to reset the trigger. And now along comes the Mantis Blackbeard X. So the biggest difference between the standard original version of the Blackbeard and the Blackbeard X is that now the Blackbeard X has a lot of those functionalities already built in. So the mechanisms within the Mantis unit that it uses to measure movement of the gun while you're shooting, those have all now been built into the Mantis Blackbeard X. And the way that they did that is by incorporating all of those mechanisms into the existing battery pack. So, of course, on the old one, the battery pack that goes into the magazine well, in place of the magazine, and then the bolt carrier group that just resets the trigger. It's just a big battery. Okay, that's all it is. You charge it up, it runs the actuator inside the bolt carrier group replacement, and that's it. So now that unit has been redesigned to include all of the functionalities of the Mantis X. So just from the start, I do want to say that this was provided to me by Mantis X. I don't get paid for any of this stuff, though, obviously, but I do want to make it clear that this was provided to me, no charge. I bought a bunch of other stuff from them in the past, so I love them, I support them, but I don't get paid. So, much like the original, nice fancy packaging. On the inside, you have a really handy case. I like these cases. I've actually traveled a bit in the last year or so. And anytime I do and I take my Mantis, it's really easy to just drop this in a case and take it with me. And I'll keep some other things in there. While I've got my bolt carrier group out of the gun, I just stash it in there for storage. So it's nice to have. You might want to just throw this in some other case or bag or whatever. So it's up to you. But I like it that they provide it. It's kind of fancy. So as I said, the difference in physical appearance between the original Blackbeard, which I'm going to show you here. Of course, like I said, just a battery. That's all this is. It's got a couple little contact points on the top there. USB micro charger there. Let's see if it's charged. You can hear it. So that's the sound of it readying that actuator so that when you do go to shoot, it resets the trigger for you. Simple enough, right? So the Blackbeard X, again, like I said, has upgraded that a little bit to include the Mantis functionalities in it. And it looks a little different too. So looks more like a magazine, right? Looks more like a pretty standard 30 round magazine. I'll say this is a lot lighter weight. I imagine that it's probably like a different battery technology that they're using, different kind of battery or something. The charge on it's been great. I've gotten tons of use out of it without having to go and recharge it too terribly often. The actual number of repetitions you can get with it, or actuations of the bolt carrier group, I don't know what that number is. I'm sure somebody might have some figures for it, or might have a better answer for you. But so that's it. Again, just the little battery connections on the top there. Down at the bottom, you've got this little button here, and what that does is that actually does the pairing for the Mantis software to, in this case, I'm using it on my tablet right here. Usually I'd probably do it on my phone or whatever, but I'm recording this on my phone, so I got my tablet, plus it's a little bigger and easier for everyone to see. Just like the original, it does have with it also the bolt carrier group replacement. Just slides right in. This one has the laser. This particular one is a red laser. And then the bottom where you get the connections for the battery. And then this is the actual little actuator for the trigger. So installation, like the old one, simple. Make sure that this gun is nice and clear. Nice and clear. So I'm going to open this up. And this thing is really dirty, so it's going to get me all dirty, but that's okay. Take out the bolt carrier group. Whoops. Take out your charging handle. And this guy, like I said, just drops right in. Right in there, just like that. I've found on some of my guns that it makes the fit a little bit tight, so you might have to kind of finesse it to get your takedown pin back. Actually, that one went just fine. So it doesn't move. The spring is obviously still in there, but it takes up the whole space, so it doesn't actually move any. Then you take your battery pack / Mantis software connector thing, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Plug that in. You can hear that battery telling you that it's charged and ready to go. So once you're ready to go, take that off safe, and it actuates the trigger. Trigger resets every time, which is pretty awesome. As I said, this is the green laser. So you can see that there. And every time I do this, a little green laser comes out. I haven't bothered with zeroing that laser, although it does have a couple of little adjustment points there, so that if you want to do that, just to make it a little more accurate, I guess you can do that if you're doing accuracy drills or whatever. For my purpose of this video, I didn't really bother with that. So what I'm going to do now is grab this guy here. All right. Hey, look, my targets are blowing away. So on your new and, oh, let's see, we got to tell that to connect. Hold down that button on there. There's, did that go? Okay, and so now what you get is BBX Dynamics. And got a whole bunch of new drills in here, which is pretty cool. 6-plate, 3-plate, transitions, plate transition variation. Essentially what that does is it allows you to measure your movement while you're doing transitions, obviously moving from one to another. See if you're, bouncing up and down or whatever. I'm gonna do just a quick one. Let's go to 6-plate. So the goal here, increase speed while maintaining a good score. Instructions, 6-plate targets. Starting from one end, shoot 1 shot per plate across. I've apparently only got 3 targets left up here, so I'll go 3 and down and 3. So, simple enough. So let me put this up here, actually. We can watch how that works. It does give me a little bit of a delay, which is kind of nice. So we'll start that. Uh-oh, look, it came disconnected. So one thing that I have noticed is that keeping the connection can be a little bit funky. You got to kind of... What I found is on the unit itself, while I'm connecting, instead of just like pressing and holding down the button or press it once, a little blue light comes on. I just kind of mash it until it makes that connection. And then once it's connected, you do get a little blue, let's see if I can show you that, blue indicator light there so that you know it's connected. So that's going. I'll step back a little bit here. We're going to look and see what this looks like. So we'll hit start, shooter ready. So that's my 6 plates. I've actually got 4 targets. Okay. And then what it does comes up really nice. I'm going to post some, put some just still photos of this stuff in here at the end, just so you can get a better look at it. I know it doesn't always show up great on camera, but so it'll show you, your time on each of those plates, your shot time, which of course has been a big thing for Mantis always, which is, your shot score. So using just, a basic bullseye style, if you get your shot perfectly right in the middle, right in the bullseye, with no movement of the gun, 100 for your score. I don't think I've ever actually gotten 100. I've gotten a whole bunch of like 98s and 99.2, but whatever. So we'll show you that, and it'll show you the transition time between each target. So like this one, total delay was 0.13, so from the time of the beep to the first shot, 0.13 seconds. My scores, 86, 96, 98, 96, 98, 98. And then the split times from 1 to 2, 91, 41, 49, 65. So fairly slow splits. But again, I'm not racing a clock or anything here. The next thing that I really like about it is, so what you do is as you're working on it here, you just gotta scroll this over and it'll show you each of your individual shots. So this is shot number 1. So at the beep, this is where it went. You can see this nice big blue line. That's me transitioning over to target number 2. Number 2, it'll show me the movement. So you hit this little play button. Here I come over, take my shot right there. Target 3, over to 3, over to 4, back to 5, and then over to 6. So you can see, but in the transitions between the two, you can see how much, like in this case, the gun, you know, the muzzle rose between maybe 1 and 2, goes up, then dips down a little bit more. So I like that because, you know, if you're, you know, when you're doing these transitions, you want to try to stay flat. You don't want extra movement because, you know, it's bouncing all over the place. But if you're doing some kind of stuff, you know, you might want to, you know, shoot. You're going to get a little recoil, ride that up, back down, come across, you know, as you're coming back to flat, break a shot, up, back down. So this is really just a nice visualization. Obviously, in live fire, it's going to look a little different, but this is just what I can do at home. So it'll show us the breakdown of each of the shots here with the score, the transition time, the delay between, you know, moving from one to the next, the split times, that kind of stuff. And then, oh, that's that drill. Again, it's tracking your movement. It's tracking where you're breaking the shot. If you're using these, you know, kind of targets, you can set it up. If you have the Mantis Laser Academy, you can use this also. So that'll give you a better idea of things like your accuracy, because that's actually going to be looking at your target as you break it with that laser. Since this isn't, it's just sort of defaulting to wherever my shot goes. It's calling that the center. That is what it is. If you have the Laser Academy, this will go great with it. As I said, you know, a bunch of different drills. There are open training, shot timers, kneeling, secondary versus primary. So if you've got, if you're practicing, you know, transition from your primary to your secondary, or vice versa, however it is, it can help you track all of that stuff. Hostage rescue drills, which is kind of neat. Rifle, cadence drills, reload drills, rifle, hostage, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And actually even, if you can see that at the bottom, United States Marine Corps qualification. So that's kind of a neat little feature that you can have in there. Basic rifleman course, so that's just going to be like a series of drills that you can do, and it tracks your progress across all of them. Again, dynamics. So got your different challenges here. Perform the benchmark drill, perform a bunch of different drills, and it gives you a really good idea of sort of where you're at, and gives you different things to do. So basic rifleman, and then there's also the advanced rifleman. So I think that probably the software update is probably my favorite thing about the Blackbeard X. The fact that there are some really rifle or AR pistol specific drills. So they're not just regular old pistol drills that you're doing with your AR. These are drills that are really made, designed to be shot with an AR or with a rifle. And so they're geared really towards that. As I said, this is both software as well as a hardware update to the previous Blackbeard. If you have the previous Blackbeard, you will be able to purchase this unit. If you want to upgrade, you'll be able to purchase just the battery kit itself. So it's using the same bolt carrier group thing. So if you've already got one, you can replace just your magazine battery thing and be good to go. You don't need to buy the whole kit. That being said, if you don't have either of them, you can buy the whole kit. Today is October 5th, or it will be. I'm filming this a couple days ahead. If you pre-ordered one of these are shipping now. They are available on Mantis's website. You can go and get it. It's available as the complete kit, so you can get just the standard Blackbeard. You can get the Blackbeard X. You can get with laser or no laser. If you again, if you're using the Laser Academy, you're going to want the laser, obviously. If you do opt for the laser, you can get it red, green, or IR, which is kind of neat. I don't have any night vision or anything, so I didn't get IR. I just went with green because green is cool. You will, if you've been using it in the past, using Mantis in the past with, just the pistol adapter or whatever, you will just need to do a quick software update to your app. It's going to store all of your old stuff, so don't worry about losing that. You'll just update the app, sign back into it, it's all there. It's going to have BBX specific options, again, for drills, for tracking, all that kind of stuff. Just like regular Mantis, there's options there for you to tell it, what gun you're shooting, what style it is. So for this demonstration, I went in and I told it that I'm shooting actually I have it set up for a different gun that I was using, which is a Sons of Liberty Gunworks lower and then a Colt upper that I have. So you can just go in, you will select rifle, and you can type in if you want to just give it a name. I just tell it whatever gun it is that I'm shooting. Some of my guns are set up differently, and so if I have slightly different training styles or things that I do, it might be nice to be able to go back and check and say, well, I did the same 5 drills with these 2 guns. I'm faster with this one, but I'm steadier with this one. How do I marry those 2 things to get faster and steadier, whatever it happens to be. So it's a really nice way to do comparisons. So there's, again, 3 options in the Mantis for live fire, dry fire, and now there's a new one for the Blackbeard X. It just says BRDX, and then you mount at the bottom. Again, once you update your app and sign back in, all your stuff's going to be there, and it's going to start tracking you from as soon as you start working with it. That's essentially it for this. I know this actually ended up going a little bit longer than I had planned, so thank you for sitting through it. As I said, these are now available on Mantis's website. I'm going to drop a link in the description also, so you can get that. You can check it out, the different options, the different things you can choose, lasers and whatever. And if you have any questions, as always, please drop a comment. Just let me know, and I will do whatever I can to try to answer as many of those questions as possible. And thank you again to Mantis for shipping this out to me. I kind of love it. Peace.